Guys, welcome back to the Connoisseur Reviews. I know everybody is doing their top 10 of the year list, and I still have a few more movies that I need to watch. Actually, several few movies. So I'm going to probably do my top 10 list more towards March time of 2021 as opposed to right now. But what I am going to give to you guys is my top 10 films of the decade, which I promised you earlier this year, but because of the pandemic and certain other things in my life, I put it on hold in order to focus on other stuff. So here's that long-awaited top 10 list of mine for the 2010 decade. So from 2010 to 2019. So let's just get started and get into it. So the first film on this list, number 10, is PK. This movie is an international film. It is a Bollywood film, but this movie tackles the subject of religion with so much nuance, so much depth, so much respect, but all the same time with a critical eye. And it just does a wonderful job of conveying how important religion is and some of the hypocrisy that goes on within it, especially in terms of organized religion and how we can sometimes call the wrong number and people are profiting off of it because of their own selfish needs. Amir Khan's performance is great, the cast is great, music is wonderful, and it's just like a whimsical fairy tale in a sense. That's number 10, PK. Number 9 is going to be 1917. I was originally going to put this movie on my list, but I wasn't sure because at the time when I was working on my top 10 list of the decade, it was just such a fresh movie that I had just watched, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to include it. But by God, this is a brilliant war film. The cinematography is wonderful. The storytelling is riveting. You are there from the beginning to the end, and then that just like run through the battlefield sequence towards the end of the film is just captures everything so beautifully. The score is wonderful. Just everything about this film is just fantastic. So number 9 is 1917. Number 8 is last year's Best Picture winner, Parasite. I love Parasite. I think it's just a completely original film. It talks about classism. It's very relatable to today's politics and what's going on with the world. The performances by the cast is just wonderful. It is in Korean, but that's just a language barrier that you just have to read, and it's just, you get such a nuance from their performances, the storytelling, how you never know what's going to happen next. Like, it starts off you're thinking these guys are the bad people, and then it changes over, and it's just so wonderfully told, so relevant to today, and just a overall great movie. You'll be laughing, you'll be crying, you'll be scared, you'll be frightened, you'll be emotionally driven. So number 8 is Parasite. Number 7 is another Bong Joon-ho film, Snowpiercer. I just love Snowpiercer. Again, another film that tackles the system of classism, elitism, and how people in the front of the train get treated better than the people in the back. But the people in the back are the reason why the people in the front get to keep moving and maintain their lifestyle. And it's just such a well-told story. It has great action in it. Chris Evans is wonderful in that film. The storytelling keeps you on the edge of your toe. Tilda Swinton was robbed of an Oscar for this film. I just think Snowpiercer is just a brilliantly told film. It's action-packed, it's riveting, and just an overall great movie that you guys should check out. So number 7 is Snowpiercer. Number 6 is Spotlight, another Best Picture winner for 2015. This movie is like a horror movie without being a horror movie. Just the mystery when it start peeling back, the corruption that goes up all the way to the top of the Catholic Church, you feel your skin crawl, and the director does just such a wonderful job of making you feel that, and you go and solve the mystery along with the characters and how important this was and how people are devoted and encapsulated into the religion where they'll try to protect those corrupt people. And it's such a movie that was relevant to the Me Too movement. This is a movie that's still very relevant to this day. It's just a well-told story with a wonderful cast of performances. Mark Ruffalo's performance is great. Rachel McAdams, Michael Keaton, everybody in that cast is just wonderful. A haunting score, just a brilliant movie with a brilliant screenplay that just keeps you at the edge of your seat, and at the end of the day, makes your skin crawl just a little bit. That's number 6, Spotlight. Number 5 is Hacksaw Ridge. This movie I was looking forward to when it first was announced, to see Mel Gibson back behind the director's chair, and what a wonderful movie that lived up to the hype. Again, this is a movie about somebody's devotion, how he becomes a hero without even shooting a bullet, and Andrew Garfield's performance is probably his best performance to date. Mel Gibson's direction is phenomenal. This movie takes you through romance, it takes you through war. It takes you through everything. It's funny. It has probably one of the more gentler touches for Mel Gibson, especially in the first act of the film. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful movie. So number 5 is Hacksaw Ridge. Number 4 is Kubo and the Two Strings. This is a wonderful film. Just beautiful, an original fairy tale. It has its own mythology. It has its own world building. And the animation is just gorgeous. The visual effects are top notch. The score and the music is just emotionally riveting. I just can't praise this movie enough. It just does everything top notch, top tier. Kubo and the Two Strings is probably one of the best movies of the last decade, and people need to watch it. It is just that good. So number 4 is Kubo and the Two Strings. Number 3 is Rush. I'm still dumbfounded that this movie did not get the Oscar love that it deserves. The special effects, the sound design, the score is all top notch, and on top of that, the performances are all phenomenal. This tells a story of two competing people with two different ideals, and how, you know, they kind of bond over a mutual respect for a sport. And it's just so well told how you can take two different paths and end up in two different, you know, take down the same path and end up in two different positions in your life. And it's just so great. Chris Hemsworth's best performance in this movie. Daniel Bruhl is just awesome in this movie. He was getting a lot of Oscar buzz, but he wasn't. At the end of the day, he didn't get it. Ron Howard's direction is just top notch. Probably the last great Ron Howard movie we've seen in a while. But this movie is just phenomenal. I'm floored with Rush. I love Rush. Everything about Rush is exciting, thrilling, and wonderful. So number 3 is Rush. Number 2 is Argo. A great thriller from beginning to end. From the beginning of the film, I was at the edge of my seat all the way to the end. How these people come together to, you know, the world comes together to save oneself. And it's just a well-told story. The action is great in it. The drama, the acting, the performances are all great. It's it's a larger-than-life story, and they brought it to the screen, and it was well-told, well-executed. Ben Affleck is still robbed of an Academy Award for this film. He deserves every award that he got. And Argo is just a wonderful, wonderful, amazing film from beginning to end. One of the finest films that was created in the last decade. And it shows, you know, how people can come together and make the impossible possible. And my number 1 favorite film of the year, or the decade, should I say, is How to Train Your Dragon 2. This movie exceeds all expectations. It's a great sequel. It's a more mature movie. It makes it feel like a Japanese anime movie. The animation is gorgeous. The storytelling is leveled and nuanced and deep. There's still heartbreaking moments. The song, the music, everything about this film is just top notch. The story of Toothless, it is the Empire Strikes Back of the How to Train Your Dragon series, and it's just takes everything from the first How to Train Your Dragon, which is a phenomenal movie, and just expands on it, expands on the world, expands on the characters, gives the minor characters a little bit more screen time, and introduces new characters and villains that, you know, move the story forward, move the world forward, and it's just truly amazing. I just can't believe this movie didn't get a Best Picture nomination, because it is that good. I love How to Train Your Dragon 2. I think it's the best movie of the decade that I've seen, and it just leads your love, guys. I'm disappointed that you guys didn't go watch it in theaters and give it the support and love that it does deserve. But overall, that's my top 10 films of the decade from 2010 to 2019. Here's a quick rundown. Number 10, PK. Number 9, 1917. Number 8, Parasite. Number 7, Snowpiercer. Number 6, Spotlight. Number 5, Hacksaw Ridge. Number 4, Kubo and the Two Strings. Number 3, Rush. Number 2, Argo. And number 1 is How to Train Your Dragon 2. So that's my list of the top 10 films of the decade from the last decade. Let me know in the comments below what your guys' top 10 movies were of the decade, and if any of my movies made your list, or I omitted something that you guys prefer. But this is a pretty solid list of films that you guys should check out. Wonderful films all around. And then I'll have like I said, I'll have my top 10 for the year out, but I still have so much more movies to watch, and I'll have some more reviews up. Alright guys, follow me on my various social media sites at AwesomeOnOK, and my Tumblr at TheConnoisseur Reviews. Alright guys, GG.